Hey guys, welcome to the Johnny Q channel. Thank you so much for watching, and in today's video, we're going to be answering the one question in mind, and that is, can you still use the Canon 5D Mark II after 10 years of it being out? Cue the intro video. Oh wait, we don't have an intro video, but it's coming soon. But the next best thing is to show you my Nerf gun, because all YouTube creators have a plethora of Nerf guns. This is mine. I have about 3 or 4, but this one is mine and I love it so much. All you have to do is take your hand, you put it here, you cock it back, you do this, you aim, and you pop your enemies, and it feels so good. Back to the video. Maybe that should be my new intro video. Anyway, guys, disclaimer here. I will not be going into a full-on tech review, spec review of the Mark II. This is simply what my opinions are, why I like to use the camera, and why I still use it today over lots of other fancy cameras out there. Okay, it just why it works for me and why it could work for you if you're on a budget, or if you're still getting into photography, or hey, you want to kind of go back to the classic 5D series. So we'll get into that. But the 3 things I want to touch on is build quality, megapixels and image quality, and also battery life. So let's get into it. Have you ever been on an airplane, in a car? Have you ever met the Hulk? My point being is this camera is solid, and that's where you're gonna get solid build quality out of this camera. I mean, if you ever been like in a car or like a tank or something, you know it's like gonna hold you and really gonna keep you safe. This really kind of does that for me. You know, when I take it out of my bag, when I take it off of my shelf and I put my hand over the grip, like it seems weird and funny, but you really have to like think about this. When you buy a camera, it has to be an extension of your arm, right? It has to be an extension of your creativity, so you can actually go out there and shoot photos that you want to shoot. And this camera does that because of the build quality. Like, I know every time I pick it up, it's gonna feel good in my hands. Like, it's not gonna wimp out on me if I drop it like I had before. There's like a few scuffs here and there, but it's never gonna break like a lot of other cameras would if you were to drop it. Like, it's a solid camera to drop. Don't drop it. I don't recommend dropping it, but if it does do that, you know it's gonna back you up by having that build quality there. So that being said, it's an awesome camera. It's not gonna let you down on that front. Like, the dials are solid after like 10 years. They're not wiggling. This dial is plenty good. The buttons here are amazing. The buttons here. I mean, the screen still some scratches, but still, it's a solid camera, solid build. I mean, the little knobs here for the strap. I don't know if you can see it right there. I mean, you're gonna have to like literally like prime off with some sort of saw or something. Those aren't going anywhere. So it's a solid camera. As far as weather sealing, you name it, I've been in it. It's a solid camera. I keep saying it's a solid camera, but there's like really no other way to explain it other than it's just a solid camera. If you've held the 5D Mark II, you know what I'm talking about. Like right here, like this flap, you know, after 10 years, this thing is still, every single time I open it and close it, I know it's gonna stay. Same with the battery door. Like, it's not going anywhere, it's still there. It's gonna, again, it's a solid camera. There's the weather sealing. I've been in the rain, mud, snow, it's been drenched in all those things, and it's worked out for me. Obviously, I've not been in a tornado, I've not been in a hurricane, monsoon, earthquake, fire, so I don't really know if it holds up to those standards. But as far as like your normal, just in the rain, in snow, in mud situations, if you ever need to do that, this thing has got your back. Okay, can we talk about megapixels? Now, there's a misconception out there, right? And that is the more megapixels you have, the better image quality you're gonna have and the better photos you're gonna yield. That's wrong. Like, I think our iPhones and all smartphones out there, I think are like a 10 to 12 megapixels, and that might not have as great a dynamic range as some of the DSLRs out there, but still, the 5D Mark II has 21 megapixels. The camera I'm shooting on right now, the Canon 80D, has 24 megapixels. Is 3 megapixels really a big difference? No, in my opinion, no. It's really all about your hands and your mind and your creativity and learning how to control ISO, aperture, and shutter speed. Don't blame the camera if you don't have good photos. Do you know how to use a camera? Do you know the ins and outs of these buttons? Do you know how to use all, you know, the different things that come up via different options in the menu, all that stuff to actually render a good quality photo? Do you know those things? If you don't, research, do your homework, start shooting, start going out there and shooting anything. That's what you need to do to get better. That's what I did. So as far as megapixels, great image quality. You put it on a really good lens. Like I think I have an 85mm and a 50mm and a 24-70 and a 70-200. I mean, those are solid lenses for this camera and yield amazing photos. So on that front, good to go. All right, let's talk about battery life. You charge this thing for like an hour and a half to like maybe 2 hours, less than 2 hours. This LPE6 battery from Canon, the classic batteries, it's gonna last you all day as far as photos. For video as well, actually, yes, on the Canon 80D, like, oh wow, very, woo. Sorry, the sun is coming out, give me 1 sec. Woo, that sun is bright. I mean, can we just talk about this glorious lighting or what it was before I just get blinded by the sun here? I love this light, so we'll keep like this. It's pretty good. Where was I? Yes, battery life. You charge it for less than a couple hours, you're getting a full day's worth of battery life for photos. So if we're talking about photographers who do weddings, dude, you got all day with this battery. You got all day. You got that CF card slot right here, boom. You got your battery. I mean, I would say maybe bring like 1 or 2 of these just fully juiced, just in case this happens to crap out on you. I mean, you got another battery in there, boom, you're good for the whole day. So as far as battery life, I've had no issues with batteries for the Canons. And these, I mean, Canon is just known for the good color science and the good cameras, but also their battery life. It's just tremendous, and I love it. So those are like the 3 major things I kind of wanted to touch on. Some other things like, you know, is it still a good camera for you to use in 2018 going into 2019? Yeah, why not? And like if you go to eBay right now, if you go to Craigslist, you can get these cameras for maybe like $400-500 bucks. I mean, no joke. For the quality you're getting out of the camera, the quality of picture, the build, the megapixels, the battery life, I mean everything in between, for like $400-500 bucks, it is a steal. Please, you have to get it. So on that front, yeah, it's an amazing camera, and it's still viable and reliable for those photographers that, I mean, if you're a travel photographer, use the 5D Mark II. If you're a photographer who does weddings, use the 5D Mark II. If you shoot kittens, like if you shoot pictures of kittens, then yeah, use the 5D Mark II. It's gonna help you. If you're a beginner, if you're just getting into photography and you don't know what camera to use, like if you're going for like the T series, the Rebel series, or like the 80D or 70D, you know, 60, 70, if I were you, sorry, my son's on the monitor, I'm just making sure he's good. If I were you as a beginner, I would fully 100% start on the 5D Mark II. That's what I started back when I started doing photography for weddings, etc. Like I started on the 5D Mark II with a 24-70 L lens, and I mean, that setup was just amazing. You're not gonna find a better setup than that. Wow, the sun is just, yeah, if you're a beginner, I would highly recommend the 5D Mark II. It's a great camera to start. It's a great camera to learn the basics, you know, your ISO, your shutter speed, and then your aperture. Like you're gonna learn all those things. You're gonna be, you know, it's a CF card. So get a CF card that's, oh, kind of the negatives about this camera here are the frames per second. So here, let me, yeah, so I mean, it's not like amazing fast, but it's still something. When I shot weddings, like, you know, when the bride and groom, you know, they say I do, and they're like, for the first time, you know, ever, please congratulate Bill and Jenny Herbengerber, and everybody starts cheering, they kiss, they come down the aisle, and they're kind of running or walking at a fast pace, and you're there, you're like, oh my goodness, this is it. This is like the money shot I have to get, because this is what they hired me to do. If I don't get these shots, I'm gonna get in big trouble. These have to be really good. So you just aim, you start shooting every single way. You're like, oh my gosh, this is awesome, this is awesome. I mean, in my experience, this camera has kept up for those such events, and it's held up. So on that front, yes, it's not the fastest frames per second, but it's still gonna be a good camera for you to learn on. The one thing that I'm not really a big fan is the screen. I mean, it's not, like, once I put my face on it like this, I'm trying to get a picture, it kind of smudges up, and it's not really a bright LCD screen. Kind of something, you know, like the Mark III or the Mark IV, the EOS R, you know, those have really great screens. Or even like the 80D, they have great screens, and they don't really smudge up as much, and they're bright, and they have high resolution. The 5D Mark II, yeah, it's a preference, but it's not a make or break kind of thing. So on that front, I still think you should still get it. So anyway guys, that's my kind of overall view. You know, yes, the 5D Mark II is still a reliable and viable camera for you in 2018 and 2019. If you're a beginner or a full-on pro or just in the middle person that just likes to create content and just kind of a run and gun, point and shoot camera, the Mark II is a great camera. It's got great build quality. It's gonna give you amazing megapixels, 21 megapixels and just great autofocus. It's gonna give you great battery life for 1 or 2 batteries. I mean, you get 1 battery, the whole day it'll last you for photos. So on that front, yes, 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 it is a great camera. You can still use it for anything while the sun is coming in hot. I need to readjust all of my settings here and my lights and all that stuff. So that being said, please like, subscribe, comment below. Let me know if I missed something or if you disagree with something I said. I would love to create a small community of people that just kind of, you know, relate back and forth with photography and video and just content creation. So please let me know and we'll catch you next time on the next video. Johnny Q out. Should there be like a outro video as well? I mean, I have a gun. You cock it back, you put it here, you aim and you shoot, boom, you destroy your enemies and it feels so good. That's a wrap. Literally that could be a wrap.